In the bottom left side, we are looking at the main base of the man who had an alrighty showing at Home Story Cup. It definitely wasn't bad, had a couple of competitive games. It is our Finnish Zerk and Mixu. Going up against the man who's playing from San Diego, California, representing the Platinum Heroes. The only Terran in the top 16 of this tourney that had qualifiers, but some of it was open, some of it was not. This is Vindicta. This should be the kind of tournament that a man like Vindicta is very pumped up for, because it's winnable, right? It's doable. You don't have to worry about running into a Gape or Clem or Max Specs that's going to ruin your party. It's a bunch of good players, but none of them should be unbeatable for Vindicta. Perhaps Mixu thinks the same, but I think in some of the ZVPs, Mixu is going to struggle. Especially a guy like DNS, Shutdown, I think Trigger as well. That should all be a bit too much. You have to vote Mixu. I honestly don't know. I guess they played on US East. Maybe the admin can let me know if Tassad is here. Because it kind of feels that if it's Finland against California, playing on US East seems kind of fair. Maybe that favors Vindicta slightly. I think making them play on Europe, the advantage is just way too big for Mixu. So I think US East is the most fair between these two. And then I think it's a true 50-50. There's some bugs flying around and they're driving me nuts. But we do have our beer though, guys. It's been a long weekend with a lot of video games. On and off stream. Cheerios. The odds are like 75-25 Vindicta. Yeah, no, it's very 50-50. I don't think either player is truly favored over the other here. They both like the late game as well. So that should actually give us at least a couple of very fun macro games. TVZ is a matchup where obviously maps do matter a lot. And we do know that in best of 5 the map becomes quite alrighty for Terrans. So even if Mixu wins, I don't ever really see this be a 3-0. It's only 3-0 between these two if one of them has either an absolutely amazing day or the other one just has a terrible off day. Vindicta's doing a good job in making it hard for Mixu to go up to 3 bases. So trying to be annoying, starts off early here. Mixu may be so annoyed that he says, you know what, F it. Then I'll just go for the Roach Warren. I mean, gets the drone but loses, or gets the SCV but loses a drone. So that's not necessarily a very sweet trade for Mixu. This Roach Warren is early, guys. Now the only real question is, what are we going to do with that Roach Warren? How many roaches do we produce early on? I'm doing my absolute best to stay hydrated in this weather. With an extra sweet mix between a cheeky cold Heineken and a lot of water. The only thing that's missing is the White Claw. It's 6 roaches initially, and even though Mixu sent out the drone, he sent it back. I don't know if he's gonna do it one more time or not. Or right now we do have money to drop that hatch, and I guess we do want to get it in the end. But 8 roaches of 23 drones is a very serious investment. We're even going to go up to 9 roaches, and we're now backing this up with more links with speed. Vindicta doesn't know yet, guys. Similar to Scotty. He does not know. The first time he sees it, the roaches are going to be more than halfway across the map. It's going to be a tough one. At least the replay is going to give a little bit of a heads up. Vindicta could just pull Hellions back. Hello? Please pay attention to your Hellions, mate. Okay. Vindicta's reaction there was a little bit late, but we can at least evacuate the low ground, keep the SCV safe. I'd say put the Hellions here and then just let the Banshee wail away at these roaches and ravages. Mixu's still making links, so Mixu's absolutely going to try to bust open the main. I'd say you don't want to waste a single second attacking that orbital. It's going to be very hard though for Mixu to kill one of these depots to open the floodgates. Now starts working on the reactor. We'll get the reactor, but doesn't quite open the floodgates. As the Widowmine goes down, one of them fired, the other one didn't. At least the bunker is up, so that's very nice. I'm really starting to feel this defense for Vindicta. I think it's completely okay. We've got a Banshee getting a lot of good shots up on the Ravager. The bunker is still alive. The work account is still looking healthy. This will not just be a hold, but I actually think it's a very good hold. Like only 7 SCVs going down, that is nowhere near enough for the men from Finland. Mixu needed more and wanted a whole lot more. It's a great start for Vindicta, guys. There's no other way to put it. I wouldn't really hate a second Banshee here and go for Cloak. Since if Mixu is just forced to build like 3 Spore Crawlers, he's gonna have a very bad time. Building 3 spores of 30 drones. That's deadly. I think it's mostly just that the queen helps out. It's queens and links, Ducky. No. We don't need to close predictions, Ian Blue. We are fine. But obviously, Vindicta winning on Ancient is a magical start for him. But I will not count either Vindicta or Mixu out if it's 0-1 or 1-0. We can leave the predictions open. It's a lot of channel points on the line. Well, I know that tonight is a busy night in the world of StarCraft, and there are some good games happening on different channels and different streams. How was Wardy's tournament, by the way, for the people that do not care about F1 and didn't watch me race or didn't watch the race on TV? Did Wardy's tournament have some bangers? Or was it so-so? The bracket is interesting. That's not the kind of bracket that I would have filled out. Especially not Clem losing to Scarlet. I find that very surprising. Yeah, I do know that Dark won. There were bangers? Which were the bangers, mate? So I know what to watch if I'm done with my day. Gabe against Solar was great. How the hell did Gabe just 3-0 Cure? Can someone explain that one to me? I know Gabe is good, don't get me wrong, but Gabe's TVT hasn't really been ultra hot lately. And Cure is an absolute animal. Giga chat Gabe. I saw a nice picture of Gabe yesterday of having a nice dinner with all the boys and girls in Cologne. They went apparently to the Bulgogi house that is closing. So they were saying goodbye to the family who run that place for a while. And Gabe was celebrating his birthday together with one of the other nerds. His sister was also celebrating the birthday. If Liquipedia is accurate, then Wardy's $1,500 tournament today brought Dark to exactly 1 million. That's sick. I think there are some different websites keeping track of that. There's also esports earnings, so you can take a look at how much Dark has earned on esport earnings, or Aligalec, or Liquipedia. I think some of them are, I don't know. It's not always 100% the same. But that's nice for Dark. A well-deserved milestone. Roddy is also closing in on 1 million, guys. We are just a couple Twitch primes away, so make it rain. As Mixu, by the way, in this game has done an alrighty job in trying to turn this into a normal game where we can start macroing. I still think he's in a bit of a pickle. But being up 10 workers looks promising. If you can just keep Vindicta busy with a couple speedlings, it should be alright. Hydra Linkbane on the side of Mixu. Do we have Groove Spines? No, we don't have any upgrades yet. It's gonna be very hard for Mixu to get decent trades. If Vindicta doesn't do anything silly and he does a good job in maintaining his bio units, the first time that Vindicta moves out, I think it's going to be very hard for Mixu to get a decent fight. On esports earnings, Dark is still a little short, 994. I don't know which one is more reliable, but I guess Liquipedia in general is pretty reliable because it's going to count a lot of the smaller tournaments. Maybe esports earnings only does the bigger ones. And obviously Wadi's tournament is not a small one. But I mostly mean like some of these tiny online one-day cups. With Linkbane crashing into Marines, this is why I kind of thought it would make sense for Vindicta to just keep all of his units together. Now he's kind of just only fighting with 40 or 50% of his army. Mixu's Hydras are kind of misrallied, so both players perhaps being a tiny bit sloppy here. But I think overall this will be a series where they will both have derpy moments, since they're so evenly matched to one another. Tanks getting picked off though. Overall this is an excellent defense by Mixu, but that's mostly just because Vindicta had so much supply doing other stuff out on the map. And I don't think that was really worth losing the tanks for, but who am I, guys? Mixu's having a hard time cleaning this up, but in the end he will. We've got some Banelings trying to make it into the middle line on the third, but Vindicta is paying attention. Immediately pulls the SCVs away and doesn't end up losing too much. Liberator sieging up, getting a queen kill, and that's about it because the Hydras and the Spore will take care of it. Vindicta is a good play with Liberators. Now Mixu did send a lot of units into his natural to deal with that Liberator. That now means that his hatchery could be in a bit of trouble. One of the queens gets picked off that had a lot of energy. And also double dropping in the natural of Mixu. Mixu keeps the bases alive and still 81 drones, so that's okay. Honestly, it's okay. He's losing a lot of queens. That could become a bit of an issue. We're now down to 3 queens, guys. Only 3 queens on the side of Mixu. It obviously means he's going to have a hard time spending his money and making sure that he's got enough larvae to work with. For now, he's fine. Most of those fights took place on creep, though, or right on the edge of creep. I don't think that Mixu quite has the numbers yet to start being aggressive and take fights off creep. Off creep, up a ramp, I think he's going to get obliterated. Triple medevac flies into the main base. Queen count was already low and is about to drop even lower as we're now down to just 2 queens. The Ling numbers are high enough to eventually push this triple drop back. But Vindicta just made it so easy for himself to get the planetary up. And that's gotta feel good. Mixu does not have a lurker den, so I guess we're going hive only for adrenal glands. Some upgrades and maybe some vipers, but Vindicta, I think, is still in a good spot here. Obviously needs to be a bit more careful whenever he's aggressive, because he's been a bit reckless on creep. He is going to send his medevac back, which only has a couple of marines, but look at the minimap. Mixu's sending like 80 or 90 supply to deal with 4 low HP marines. That's obviously not quite the way to play high level video games. We all like to F2 a little, but that's not the way. Vindicta throws out a scan, gets a couple creep tumors. Mixu says, you know what, I'm just going to go through the center. But there are sensor towers and I'm going to give Vindicta the heads up that this is coming. Couple banelings in the mix, but the repair is going to do its job. The planetary fortress is targeting down a lot of banelings. And it's obviously going to be very hard to kill this PF. I don't know if he gets it, guys. I honestly don't know if he gets it. If SCVs keep on repairing and the army is going to show up sometime soon, this PF is still going strong and is getting a lot of good shots off now on the Hydras. In the end, it is barely good enough. But that obviously costed Mixu a lot. 40 SCVs went down though, as we had a baning run by in the third. I am shocked that it took Vindicta so long to send his army over. So now we have kind of a bizarre scenario where Mixu's economy is great, Mixu's bank is great, but Vindicta's army is the greatest thing of them all. We have a couple of banelings in the mix. If Mixu can clean this army up, he's cooking. But can he clean this up? He's down 40 army supply. That's not quite the fight, Mixu. Okay, couple good baneling connections. Did not expect that. If he does that 2 or 3 more times, he will be fine. One of the hatcheries is going to go down, but that is okay. That's very acceptable. It's a lot of minerals in the bank, not that much gas. This really goes back to losing all those queens earlier, guys. Because we lost all of the queens, we don't have enough larvae to spam zerglings for days. The banelings are not quite sure what they need to settle for. Army supplies are a little bit closer though. Every second that goes by is a good one for Mixu. Can Mixu find the sweet baneling connections that he needs? Widowmine. That's a good shot off. Baneling's still connected with bio there. All of this happening right before +3 for the bio units. That obviously would have made a big difference. Mixu. Mixu could technically forfeit this base too after the amount of economic damage he dealt. But it seems like that's not something he's very interested in. Big tank shot. Sick first game between these two. You gotta love it, guys. Vindicta and Mixu playing some fun StarCraft here. One Widowmine is way too far forward, goes down. Mixu is indeed forced to sack this base. He's not just going to lose the base, but also 11 drones, a Hydra, and 2 more queens. Is back up to 4 queens though. Vindicta has never re-expanded and has barely built any SCVs ever since this started. Now seems to be worried about getting surrounded. Will the tank siege job? Yes. Mixu thinks that this is the fight that he needs. I don't know. Widowmine, can it deal some friendly fire? No, it's not dealing any friendly fire. That tank though did do some friendly fire. Now it's just a few Hydras left. There's a couple banelings in the mix too. In the end it's Hydra, Ling Bane on the edge of creep. Nice target fire on a couple of these banelings. The bio numbers are a lot smaller now than they were before. It's an insanely close fight. There's some reinforcements coming and that's a terrible rally for Mixu. 6 or 7 banes really could have made the difference. The stim does really hurt this Terran army. That is the baneling connection that Mixu needed, but reinforcements have arrived. It's still so close. I think in the end the Hydras are good enough. What a scrap. What a scrap between these two. That was actually insane. One bailing there, guys. Getting that ultra sweet connection towards the end. Taking out like 8 or 10 Marines. And what do we got now? Vindicta is floating over the natural. Okay. Vindicta does not want to rebuild SCVs. Vindicta does not want to rebuild a base. He's just going to float over the natural. Mixu still has this low HP base in the bottom. This oddly saturated base in the top left. Where are Mixu's drones then, though? Shouldn't Mixu have way more drones, guys? Defending the top left, I think that's a bit of a pipe dream. So Mixu forced to sacrifice another hatchery. And what else do we got? Where are the drones, guys? Do we have a bunch of drones long distance mining? Okay, now he has saturated the space, so it's okay. Mixu has fixed the problem. We have a double drop active in the bottom right side, and we have this drop in the top left. Seems like the one in the bottom right kind of got shut down. Vindicta's still up 15 army supply, and he does have a 1 upgrade advantage. But that's not going to last forever. If Mixu can get +3, and he does already have Adreno against basically 5 mines. A sensor tower will fall, and that's the way we love it. One Widow Mine here gets a shot off on only a single Zergling. The other 2 Widow Mines get blown up by Banelings. That actually worked out for Mixu. Oh! Meine Fresse, das geht doch nicht! And at the same time, Vindicta feels there is an opening to get on top of this hatchery. He's gonna snipe a few Hydras instead. Does not get the hatch, but did do a lot of damage to the base. Insanely cool game between these two. This time around, Mixu has an Overseer in the mix. So he will actually be able to see the Widow Mines. Picks off one of them. There's 3 fights happening right now, but I think this is potentially the most important. That's just a little link run by. I love it though by Mixu as the army supplies are getting closer and closer. These 2 Widow Mine shots are not a whole lot. We have plenty of Banelings in the mix. More SCVs will fall. A lot of SCVs will fall even. Good job by Vindicta in the end there, at least saving a couple of them. Because these units are still eager to snipe that hatchery in the top left. That ain't happening. The main base is now floating over towards 12 o'clock. What a game, guys. What a game. That the Widow Mine that shot here had 22 kills. One Widow Mine killed 22 Zerglings. Yeah, sometimes I forget that my camera blocks that for you guys. But I don't know about you, but it kind of felt like 22. And that's what it was. Our man Rexor, by the way, is suddenly in love with Taylor Swift, eh? Is that like a common thing? People go to one Taylor Swift concert and they're obsessed? Is T Swift that good, guys? Once you go Swifty, you never care about anything else? Mixu is going to be able to completely deny this base at this point. Now, that's a healthy looking army though, and whatever Mixu left behind is not going to be good enough to deal with all this Terran. This hatchery will finally fall. So it's a base for a base between these 2 nerds. He's gone as long. Yeah, I know. He was looking to go to Amsterdam. I was like, I understand, by the way. Like, if you go to a Taylor Swift concert that you love it and then you listen to her music a bit more, but to then go to all the other concerts too, seems like you're pushing it a little. But yeah, that's about T-Swift. We'll talk more about T-Swift later. Oh, that Stim really hurts this Terran army. There's so many Banelings, guys, but the Marauders are giving their life for these Marines. I still think that's an excellent trade for Mixu. Vindicta does still have an army in the bottom side of the map. Now, basically, neither of them is really mining jack shit anymore. This is one of the last mining bases for Mixu, but at the moment he does not have enough units to keep this safe. The problem is with only 1 medevac, you're not going to keep the bio unit safe. The first Pongo is good, the second one is even better, and Vindicta cannot replace those units.